νομίζω κάνει φοβερή δουλειά στην Ομόνοια.
And we call taxi, and with Kilian I opened the door behind, I put him in the taxi, and I close the door, and I want to go inside, and Kilian go out there.
You're gonna get someone messaging you afterwards saying, "Why did you mention me?"
Hey, fuck them.
She say, I cry because you are here today.
Πάμε σιλά καμουθιά μου λέγω αμπρεγά μου τα μέσα.
Edo, welcome to another very special edition of the NOUNA podcast. See, we come with big dick energy, don't we, Roy? I'm Stel. There you go.
That's the one.
And we've got two guests, Gumbareth. God, do you want to introduce our lovely guests? Go on, big man.
Hi, Bumenan. Today on the pod, we've got two guests like Stel says, as you can see at the bottom of your screens, Odysseos and Korolovszky. So, welcome guys to our show. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation to come on. Two players who played at similar times at the club. And as we know, they're friends as well. So even though, you know, before we started recording, they had a bit of a back and forth. So I don't know how nice it's going to be. I think they're going to be making fun of each other.
Double trouble, mate. Double trouble.
Double trouble. But yeah. Guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming, jumping on. I hope you enjoy the pod with us.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the invitation, guys.
Yeah. So how are you doing? Let's start with Odysseas first, if you don't mind, Gabor. You know,
I'm
just
all right. Actually, I should be the one because I am a foreigner. I'm in my country. Whatever. You can meet Odysseas anytime, but Halalissas. Odysseas is
It's not a problem for me. If Gabor want to start, for me, it's not a problem.
I'm okay.
It's better if Gabor start because you
No.
let him start.
we can't fix it now. I think we can't.
No, now I don't let that. No, Odysseas will start.
The reason I start with Odysseas is because you're wearing orange, and I don't like the orange shirt you're wearing.
It's actually red or pinkish, but anyway, all right. Yeah, orange, definitely not.
Okay.
Roy's getting old. He's colorblind.
Okay, so now I'm going to Odysseas.
It's his internet, actually. It's his internet.
Εγώ tengo dinero στο πορτοκαλί, δεν το θωρεί καλά.
It's his internet.
It's fine. Oh, you are. Thanks, Gabor. Okay, yeah. Okay, we should ask the people watching the show what color is Gabor's shirt. Okay, just get the answer. It's red.
And in the meantime, I will check something in the house which is orange, and you can see the comparison.
Wait, I also say that it's orange.
I was going to say something, but it's a national thing. I hope so. I don't want to.
You can
say something.
You can say whatever you want on this.
It's not orange. It's not orange. You know what? There is orange in the house. So give me a second.
They invite you to the program and you come with an orange color shirt.
No, seriously, this is by fact it's an orange. All right. I just bought it yesterday. So if anybody who is listening, watching this show, and welcome them, say that these two colors are the same, I close the laptop and I'm going to watch Netflix now.
Yeah, but I told you, Roy's colorblind.
These two are the same color. These two are the same color. Seriously, this is orange.
Tell you it's purple.
Fuck me, right? Okay, what color is this?
We're showing everyone our oranges now because, you know.
It's red.
That's red. Is this the same as what you're wearing?
Yes.
The enemy color has many
Shades. Okay, I can take that.
Variations of color. Orange. You cannot argue the fact, but this is an orange. This is an orange. So no other thing has much exact color than that. If you're talking about an orange, this is an orange. So this color is orange. If you're telling me this is the same color,
until the end of the podcast, we will find the color. Don't worry.
You tell me at least, because you are my friend at GABOR, this is not orange, but you're not.
Okay, no.
I
know you so many years. I'm sure until the end of the podcast, we will agree.
All right. So.
Okay, so Odysseas, tell us a little bit about what you are doing now. I know you were at the academies of Omonoia for many years, and you moved to ARIS Academy, if I'm not mistaken, last season. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your time at Omonoia before your move to ARIS and how it happened?
You mean the time when I was in the academies as a coach?
Yes, let's talk about the academy now, and then we can talk about your time at the club when we will discuss with GABOR as well.
Okay. So after when I got married, I moved to Limassol. I was living here, and I started coaching at the academies here in Limassol. I was here for about 6 years. Then I went for the next 2 years in the teams of U14 and U15 in Omonoia. I stayed there for 2 years. It was a very nice time there. I met
experience. What you're looking for.
I met with many people. I enjoyed my time there. I believe I learned a lot. And last year I made the decision that I wanted to do something new. So I left the Academy of Omonoia and I moved to Limassol. I came here and now I'm coach of ARIS in the second team, under 19.
Okay, and how do you compare the two academies, and what was the challenge that made you wanted a change of challenge? Because you were at Omonoia for so many years, and you said that you decided to go to ARIS. What was the reason behind it? Because obviously to coach the team you supported growing up is a dream for some people, but you chose to go to ARIS. What was the reason? Was it a challenge for you?
Exactly, yes. The challenge, it was, I think, the main reason. When I was in Omonoia, I really enjoy my time there because, as you said, when you play for this team also, it's different when you coach and you feel the team like it's your team. But of course, when I was in Omonoia, I used to play, and the only thing I used to think is the attacking phase of the game and nothing else. Because another thing we have to make clear and say is that the Academy of Omonoia, they are working in a high level, I believe, and other academies there is nothing to compare. There are a few things that other academies try to do. Of course, there are academies that they work on a professional level, but not as Omonoia does. What I find as a challenge in ARIS Academy, and I like it a lot to work here, is that I was no more the favorite team when I was going to the games. I had to find a way how to defend and also how to find a way to attack. And that was for me the best challenge and the best nice part of coaching. And it was something that was very, very exciting. I enjoyed my season this year in ARIS, and I hope I can do something better in the next years.
We wish you all the best. Because you said you were talking about coaching the academies. I wanted to ask GABOR as well, because as far as I know, GABOR was also he's coaching at the moment currently, and he did quite well with FERENCVAROS. And before he tells us about him coaching FERENCVAROS, you used to coach the futsal five-a-side teams, indoor football when you earlier on in your career as a coach, and how did that help you? And how do you compare these two? Do you think it's a completely different sport, one to another? And how did it come up? And just tell us a little bit about your time now at FERENCVAROS, and who do you have as an assistant coach with you there?
Okay, I will not remember the half of the question you asked, but I start to do. I try to do it step by step. So
that's because you're old and you forget.
Yeah. And because So like 6 or 7 years ago, one of my best friends in Hungary, he's been doing a bit of futsal coaching, and he got connected with the federation, and he got some Spanish friend. And because I speak Spanish, he asked me that if I want to be next to him, like just to translate, nothing to do, nothing else. And the guy came. They promoted him they named him as the first national team coach in futsal. And actually, when I was as a kid, 16, 17, 15, 14, I used to play futsal, not futsal because it wasn't futsal then, it was called something else. I had some experience to playing five-a-side or six-a-side. And I spoke Spanish, and I met the guy, and the guy said, well, brilliant. You speak the terminology also in sports, because it's one thing that you speak one language, another thing is you know what the word is, to press, to take the ball, to build up, to triangles, whatever. And I was next to him. Basically, what I learned is more communication and taking the dressing room. Is not football, because the two sports has nothing to do with each other. The guy was from Barcelona, so I went to Barcelona Futsal Academy many times, and I even in Barcelona they say that this sport has nothing to do with football. Whoever starts to play futsal at age 12, 13, 10, they will never be a footballer. And whoever starts to play football in La Masia, in the academy in Barcelona, will never be a futsal player, because the two sports has nothing to do with each other. It helps the kids until 12 or 13, until they play football big size, the full size. It helps them to technical ways. It does do something, but because it's 4-player, the ball is totally different, the size is different, the surface is different. It's absolutely it's another sport altogether. And I was there for 4 years, 4.5 years. We went to Euro. We did a lot of nice things. And what I learned is how to take a team, how to talk with to players. I am quite a dominant person, and I was always loud, and I always had my opinion. But it's different when you're loud. It's different when you are actually coaching players that they are 28 or 30 years old, because they can tell you a lot of things back, and you have to control yourself. So I did that. In the meantime, I was also coaching in 4th division in Hungary, which is quite amateur actually, but I did that for 4.5 years as well. No, for 4 years, sorry. Also that I did some learning for myself, and then taking a dressing room and leading them and whatever. And then 4 years ago, I went to University of Physical Education in Hungary. And my teacher the first year, of football obviously, my teacher the first year told me that, listen, I'm going to be the sports director in Ferencváros. Do you want to come to work there to see how it goes? And I said, oh, why not? And he gave me under 12. And the first year I did under 12, then I did under 13. At the same time, I did also under 17 assistant coach. Then I did under 15. Then I did under 16. Last year I took under 17. And because we won the champion, not because we won the championship, but we won the championship 2 months ago. And I just got promoted, and I got the second team of Ferencváros. And the last question is Leandro is my assistant coach, and also he's playing in my team sometimes. So yeah, that's my career in a nutshell in the last 4 or 5 years.
That's great.
Gabor, when you will start writing your book, because it was a big career. Are you ready to start writing your book or not?
Regumbare, it was an exact and it was a punctual thing, because they asked me everything and I answered them very correctly and nicely. So there is no question uncovered.
And we forgot to say congratulations because you won the championship. We forgot to say congratulations to you. Yes.
You forgot to say. You forgot. Actually, you also forgot that last week when I was there, you went to water park. So that was fun. That's what friends are for. So. But that's not the championship. What the big thing is. The big thing is that, as also Odysseas mentioned, the very important thing is that a lot of players, and we might go there later on in the conversation, but a lot of players, they finish their career and the next day they become coach. And just like I did, and I think also Odysseas did, we thought we know everything about football, everything. I mean, everything. Every coach is stupid, everybody is idiot, we know much better. And actually, as you go on your pathways and you go, and as you learn a lot of things in UEFA education courses, and I went to also university, I'm doing my master, and I'm also teaching in a university football for first and second years of students. You will realize that you know nothing about football. You know nothing about football. As the deeper you go into your studies and then your learning, the more you know that the less you know actually about football.
Yes, you are right, but I don't know what happened in the other countries. But in Cyprus, we know everything.
I know that, but not because you are my best friend in Cyprus, but also because I know how you think, and I think it's true. We have big players. We have players in Hungary that they made amazing careers in England, in Germany, in Spain, and whatever. And they come back and they finish their career on Monday, and on Tuesday they coach the first team. And in 6 months they are sacked, and they don't know why, and they don't understand everything. And they think that they did everything good, everything well, everything was perfect. That the players are idiots. No, the players are idiots. We also used to be idiots, that's for sure. The players are the bigger motherfuckers. They know everything. They try to find always the short way and everything. But as a coach, and that's why you need experience, as a coach, you need to know that the players will find a way. The players will want to fuck you. The players will want to find how not to train, not to run, not to fight. And everyone is to blame except them. But for that, you need to have experience as a coach. You need to know how to talk to one player, to another player, or talk to them, not to talk to them. And that's the experience what actually Odysseas and I'm also taking and doing. And let's hope that it will take us somewhere.
You're talking about different age groups. I mean, you're not talking about teams who have, you're talking about under 14s, 15s, 17s, 16s. How different is that? And how do you approach the training methodology when you have to do with kids this age? And the question goes for both of you. And because, Odysseas obviously knows a little bit more about what's happening in Omonoia. There's an attempt the last few years to export kids from the academy. We had Nikos Karalambidis on the show who said that at any given moment, the plan is to have 10 kids from the academy in the team, training with the first team, and it gradually
in the same team.
Yeah, 10 kids from the academy to train, and not
necessarily. You mean to train only, and then to go back to their team.
Okay, to train, but we're not far off, because last year there were games where we had like 5-6 minimum.
Yes,
5-6 minimum. So we're not that far off from that target. So yeah, my question to both of you is how different it is when you want to train kids starting from the ages of 14, let's say, up until 19. How different is it, and what's the approach you guys have? Maybe you probably have discussed it between the two of you, but maybe you can have that discussion so everyone can hear.
Okay. I think there are a lot of things that people can agree or disagree about this. I will say my opinion, especially in this age, 14, 15, 16. It's not the point that you have to play to win, but everybody wants to win. You have to win by playing with the correct and the right way. If you manage to make this, then it's the best thing. But of course, it's much more important to try to give to the kids to improve them where they really need to improve, technical, mentally, whatever is that. And so you have to prepare them to be ready when they will be 17, 18 years old. Because I believe that in this age, they are going to be judged, let's say. they have to be ready on that specific age. Whatever you win before or you don't win, I think is not so important. But another thing that I believe, and I would like to say, is that usually in the academies there are rules. Of course, we have to follow the rules. We have to try to keep the boys in the correct direction, let's say. But we have to remember also to leave the kids alone and create their own character and personality. Because I believe that there are young boys or players that they have a personality that very, very soon is going to be much bigger than their coach. So it's not always correct to stop them or to keep them into some lines, for example. I think the point is to help them to improve more and try to push their self to their limits.
Gabor?
Odysseas said a lot of things. Whatever Odysseas says was right. I can say because that's what I did for the first 3 years in the uni. I was studying it as a bachelor degree. I was having exams of between 12 and 19 years old of age. You have to know you have to know a lot of things when you are working with kids. You have to know their biology, their anatomy, the methodology, the technical way. Actually, the football is the education, which that's what we are talking about. They educate them. It's about 4 things. It's technical, tactical, mental, and physical. You have to know that the 12-year-old boy will not do the same thing what the 15-year-old boy do, even if they look the same, they're the same size. It can be possible. You know that, I don't know how it's in Cyprus, but in Hungary, 14-year-old boys are going to play full size, 10-a-sides, 10v10. I don't know how it's in Cyprus, maybe it's 1 year earlier. Because it's the same, because we have just changed the rules actually now, a few months ago. So the first year when you are there 13, 14 years old, to teach them how to play 10 against 10, because before they played 8 against 8. I also did that, 8 against 8 1 year. It's a very big difference. You have to build them up. Then you just teach them the basics. You have to be patient because they don't have strength to make a long ball. You don't ask for long balls. They don't have the physical requirements to run up and down because they are 13 years old. They might be tall, they might be 170, 175, but their heart is still just like an orange, as we just saw an orange before. So you have to know the biology, anatomy at some point, because not everybody has a fitness coach. You have to know the basics, that you don't kill or you don't destroy a 13, 14 years old boy. Then at 15, 16 you have to build their techniques up. I think that's the most important thing, but because it cannot happen that an 18, 19 years old boy comes up to the first team or second team, at least, for example, in FERENCVAROS, which is like in Omonoia. Actually, it's like Omonoia in Cyprus is the biggest club and the most successful club in the history of Hungarian football. And an 18 years old boy cannot play a long ball for 30 meters, or cannot control them, or cannot head, or cannot shoot, or cannot cross the ball. So it's basically technical, yes, then mental as well, because the point is, and the target is not to win, but everybody wants to win. Somebody has to win the game. Also, when you lose a game, you lose some games. It's for them an educational way how to take a winning game, how to take a losing game, how to take when you don't play. I don't know how it is in Cyprus. In Hungary, we have a lot of problems with parents. Father, mother, they calling the directors, they calling the coach. Why is not playing? Why is not playing? In FERENCVAROS, 2 years ago, we closed the doors. Nobody can get in. There's nothing. Before that, they came and they called you Sunday at 10 o'clock in the evening. Can I just ask you something? No. Why would you ask? Are you going also to the school when there is mathematics in the school and you ask the teacher why he is not getting a better grade? So that's a very, very complicated issue. But you have to know a lot of things when you are coaching these kids. And apart from 17 years old, you have to teach them to win games. You have to find your own tactic, and you have to teach them that tactic, formation, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 3-5-2, 4-4-4, you name it. And that is one other thing which not Odysseas, not me mentioned so far, that you are working also in a club. And the club must have a philosophy. How to build up what, for example, in FERENCVAROS is not a secret. There is no way you can play in the first team. No way, no chance whatsoever, almost none, because we have like a squad of 28 and 22 of them are foreigners. Of course, Ferencvaros played the European League last year. 2 years ago, they played the Champions League, so it's almost impossible. But still, you have to have a philosophy, like Barcelona, like Ajax, like whoever, what formation you play. Barcelona, for example, plays 4-3-3, and every age group plays 4-3-3. It doesn't matter you win championship or not, that's your philosophy. Omonoia or Ferencvaros has to have a philosophy. If Omonioia's philosophy is or target or to dream is to make a team once who's actually full of Cypriot players and comes from an academy, that's brilliant, that's fantastic. You might not win the championship with them at the beginning, probably not, that's not a problem. But then the under 19, 18, 17, 16 or whichever group has to play, has to work the same way. I think that's the most important thing, and that must has a head of a director who knows the football, how to teach, not to understand football, because that's one thing. Another thing is teaching the football. One thing is to do, other thing is to teach, other thing is to show, and that's very complicated. I think I'm very happy. For 4 years, I've been, sorry for my language, busting my ass off and my everything for working with kids, raining, snowing. You take the balls, you take the everything. I mean, the cones, the small goalposts you take with your car and you go back. The small kids are coming, it's freezing, it's everything. But you learn a lot about the process, how a player becomes a player, a bigger, a taller, more serious. It's a very nice experience. Yes, you are making 500, 600 euros per month, so it's a bit annoying. But I think that's how you become a coach. No, you don't become a coach in one day because you finish your career and you got your pro license. That's how you become a coach. And that's a very important process, I think.
I've got a question for both of you. Odysseas, earlier you mentioned, coaching in Cyprus and the dynamic and how things have changed over the years. And Gabor, you touched on something that I wanted to bring up. That's the mental side of coaching. How do you, as coaches, protect the younger players? Because Gabor, you mentioned studying, going to university, getting your masters and learning more about the game. But obviously, as football evolves, the world evolves as well. And we have social media and we have more and more football agents becoming involved in younger players. So how do you kind of evolve with the game? You mentioned the technical side, which obviously changes, but also the mental side. How do you protect the youngsters from parents, from agents who think, oh, you're the next Lionel Messi? How do you protect them from social media? Because as I've mentioned before on a podcast, I had a bit of abuse from a young player for a video that I did, nothing malicious, but then I knew the academy director and I said to him, this is one of your players. Can you have a word with them? How do you teach them about these things and to become men,
Okay, it's a difficult question, I think, but I guess when you have a good relationship with the boys or the players, you can be there. I think all the academies have their own rules. They don't allow the parents to come closer to the coach or to the directors. Okay, sometimes it happens, but at least in Omonoia, where I was for so many years, or even now in the ARIS Academy, I don't think that the parents can have so much control to call and try to do, let's say, whatever they want, or they ask for a better time or whatever. Okay, the kids, they have to try, they have to work hard. And I think, as I said, if you have a good relation with them, you have to speak, you have to give them the power to dream. You have to give them the power to do their best. But you have to also prepare them that football is not a life, and they are not going to make it everybody to become players. So they have to be ready. Yes, they have to be ready for the case that they are not going to make it. And most of the boys, this is going to happen. only a few are going to be professional football players. So it's important also to speak, to remind them this, because it's very, very important. And another thing, I was reading something that UEFA came up, I think, a few years before, that most of the players that they finish their career, they have problems with depression, financial problems, or whatever. So, as I said before, football is not even if you make it to become a football player or you sign a contract, that doesn't say a lot, because the easy thing is to go there and keep yourself there, to stay for many years, or to make a career that the career that you want, or somebody to remember you, or to make a good money. So the important thing is to learn how to make it alone by yourself, without expecting from the others, or without football, I can say.
Yeah, it's a very interesting and a very important and a very difficult question actually that you raised. A couple of marks. First of all, I think, and that's the most important thing, I was very, very lucky, because my director was a teacher in university, and he was also an instructor in UEFA Pro. So basically, he knows everything about football, everything about game, and everything about how to educate kids, how to approach and how to keep kids. That's very important, that the club has the knowledge and has to put a person who knows everything about education. He might not have been a fantastic player. He might never played first division. Our director right now never played football more than third division, but he knows everything about 11, 10, 9 and 19 years old kids, everything, social life, mentality, whatever he's teaching. So first of all, a club has to have somebody who is controlling all the things. First. Second of all, Odysseas is very, very good. You have to have a good relationship. When you are under 13, 14 years old boys coach, you're not a coach. You are a father. You're an educator, you are a father, you are a mentor, you are a brother. You're also their enemy sometimes, or many times, when you are shouting at them and you're telling them what to do and what not to do. And actually, I'm telling them many times what not to do in a very nice way, not in a very nice way, but that's how it is. But they understand that the kids, they know if you shouting at them, or you're telling them, or you're coaching or directing them or ordering them, but that they know that you are there for them, you are helping them, you have heart. And not only you arrive at the training camp, you do your training, and then you go home and you're not teachable for the rest of the day, then it's not going to happen. Listen, last year, one of my kids were struggling in school, actually with English. And as a coach of under 17 in FERENCVAROS, I studied them. I was teaching him how to pass English exams. So I shouldn't have done that. I'm a coach. I did my 4 against 2, 5 against 3 game, some running. Bye, guys, I'm going home. I did my part. No, that's not how it is. With kids, it's absolutely different when you're doing with them with the others. What you mentioned, social media and everything, it's very difficult. It's very difficult because because when I was young, or when Odysseas was young, our dream was to play football. Odysseas' dream was to play in Omonoia. My dream was to play in national team of Hungary. Today's kids' dream is not to play football. Today's kids' dream is to be in TikTok, to be on Facebook, to have a nice tattoo, to have a nice car, to score a goal and make money. I never wanted to make money. I mean, when I was young, later on, definitely I wanted. And the whole issue you have to change in kids' head. That's how it is. Even if you become a football player, you are not going to make millions. A few will make millions. And even if you make millions, many millions we saw in the last few years, but they went bankrupt. So that's not an issue. You have to educate them. The last thing I would say about this issue, our director has an assembly every year, beginning of the year in the summer, with parents. And what he's telling them, I'm trying to translate word by word. He's telling them, if you are coming with us and you're doing your way with us, actually our way with you, then one thing we can promise you, that we make your child a valuable player for the market. Now, we don't know what the market is going to be in a few years, but our player, your son, is going to be a first division player, second or third. But we're going to give him some value. He will know his own values. He will know if he's fast or slow, strong or weak, tall or short, whatever. But we have to give him a correct self-esteem. A correct self-esteem that I'm not going to be Messi, I'm not going to be Ronaldo, I'm going to be somebody. But that's the most important thing, because nowadays with manager, with agents, with directors, you score 2 goals in one game and you think Chelsea will sign you. It's very, very difficult. It's very difficult.
100%. And as a coach, your role is even more difficult given the lack of, I'd say, opportunities around. If you're a footballer, you know, you're in a squad of 22 to 24 players. When you leave, you can go to another club with 22 to 24 players. With coaching, it's completely different, isn't it? And the one thing I've learned in the game, it's almost as if it's not what you know, it's who you know. You know, there are so many coaches out there with their UEFA Pro licenses and so much experience, but yet they can't seem to find the role that they want, possibly because of politics or whatever. But it's almost as if you're out of the game for a certain period of time, it's almost as if you become forgotten. Yeah, am I right in making that assumption?
Yeah, but you know what? That's happening in Hungary. I'm pretty sure it's happening in Cyprus, or maybe I know that it's happening in Cyprus.
In the UK,
but I'm sure it's happening
for sure.
Exactly, it's happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere. You know who you know. That person might help you. You know what? I don't mind that people get chances and opportunities because they know somebody. What I do mind, and I do mind also in my country, I don't get opportunities. I did get, and I showed something. That's what I am. That's what I am now. That's why. But what I do mind is one guy is getting opportunity because he knows somebody. He fails, and then he gets another opportunity. Then again he fails, and then again he gets an opportunity. No, it's not like that. It's like you're building a house. If you're building a house and the house will collapse, you will never build a house again because you're not a builder. You're a destroyer. If you're a coach and if you destroy players and if you destroy a team, now keep an eye on the results, because many times happens, you all know that you might be a good coach. You might coach the team very well. You just miss something and you are not getting the results and they suck you. That's another thing. That also happens. That's not fair, but that's how the game is in a high level I'm talking about. But when you get opportunities and you don't treat them well, or you don't treat them correctly, because I don't know what well is. Well is not well. You don't treat them correct. Or you win championship, but you're an asshole. I had coaches that they were successful and they were assholes, and I had coaches that they were very nice, very good coaches. They didn't get the results and they sucked them. I don't mind if they get opportunities, but see them, control them, analyze them, and if their work is correct and good, let them work. If their work is shit, sack them and forget them, because we are many of us, Odysseas, and I'm sure many other people also in Cyprus. We want to work, we want to learn, we are dedicated, we are humble. We want to show what we know. We know something about the game all over. I'm not only about tactics, but all over the game. And they have to give us some opportunity, and let's see how we can prove ourselves.
I've got one more question before I hand it back to Roy. You mentioned coaches and certain ones have got certain characteristics, etc., etc. If you talk about your careers, either playing or coaching, is there a specific coach that stands out for you that you believe you learned from the most, not just on the field, but also off it as well?
What was that?
Say that again, sorry, because I didn't understand exactly the question.
So I was wondering, were there any prοπονητές that you either worked with or were coached by, έμαθες πολλά that you felt that you learned from them not just coaching, but also mentally as well?
Okay, look, yes, I understand correct. For me, with any person that you cooperate as a coach or as a player, I believe that there is something to learn. For example, in Omonoia, we had some excellent persons to cooperate with them. It was, for example, now it's Haris Nicolaou, it's Andreas Migiotis there. Before it was Vasilis Mitas, the technical director, and before it was the I try to. I forgot his name. The Danish coach we used to have there from Denmark, but I forgot his name. Anyway,
Jesper. Is it Jesper? No, it wasn't Jesper.
Jesper, yes, Jesper. He was also an amazing guy, and I believe that I learned a lot from him. And these persons, when they talk, when they speak about football, is whatever. For example, before Gabor said that when you go for education or whatever, you speak with them, and there are so many things that you can learn, you can take from them, and have as an example that there are persons that you have to keep them in your life as an example. Okay, for football, what we used to do before, what we can remember from the coaches that we had, I can say that the coaches that we used to have then, 20 years before, they have nothing to do. For example, now, how is football now? It changed many things, almost everything. The only thing that I can say is the same is, for example, if somebody could give you a good psychology to go to the game. But now football has changed a lot. I think Gabor agree with this also. I'm not sure, but I think it's
no, I am. I am definitely. I am. I'm not. I'm not as nice as Odysseas because I don't remember. I don't have very nice memories of my coaches. Almost any of them who were coaching me because or they loved me but they don't have nothing to do with football, or they didn't love me. So that sorted the things out. Or didn't like me because of my character or because of anything. But that's for sure. That's correct. That from everybody you want to learn, and you can learn one thing. Football coaching is like a lot of other things in life. It's about talent. Or you have some talent as a coach, or you don't. I don't think that Guardiola is the best coach in the world in terms of working the most. I don't know, talking with players or no, he's not. I'm sure that Odysseas is working a lot. I am, and 5,000 other coaches working even more than Guardiola. But he knows something about football that others don't. And Klopp and Pochettino and Simeone and Ancelotti and you name it, whoever is talent. You have a talent as a player. Odysseas also saw football when he was a player some way, and he felt like he could do something. And we take one thing from one coach, another thing from another coach. I used to read basketball coaches' books and volleyball coaches' books. It has nothing to do with football, but how they manage a group, how they manage a dressing room, what they say in halftime, what they don't say in halftime. Video. When you analyze and you show the players the video of a certain game, how you start with the positive things, you start with the negative things. Some will say that start with the negative, then you start with the positive. Some they say the other way. Whatever you do, it's your talent, and you have to learn one thing from everybody. Memories I don't have, so I wouldn't really want to say names. There were some good coaches. There were some really bad coaches that I worked with that they knew nothing about football and less managing a group. But what Odysseas is saying, that's the most important thing. The football has changed over the last 20 years. And you know what's the most important thing, guys? What I really believe. I am lucky now because I'm in FERENCVAROS, the best club and the biggest club in Hungary. I have 3 assistant coaches, 2, Leo and another one. I have a video analyst. I have a fitness coach. I have a goalkeeper coach. I have another analyst, and they are helping me. What I need to know as a coach when I become a coach, and that's I think what the European coaches are much better than us, let's say Hungarians. They know one aspect of the game. The rest they have no clue. If I know about, for example, tactics, and I know how to play 4-3-3, I have to be a master of 4-3-3, but I might have no clue about conditional thing, how physically what to do with a team, or mentally, or technically. I have a technical trainer who is doing 30 minutes every day. I have a psychologist who is talking with the team every day. 24/7. The biggest problem that we have 20 years ago that one coach thought he knew everything, and he wanted to be a coach in everything, and they had no clue. I know that I have no idea. I did my bachelor, so trust me. Anatomy I did 2 years, and I did methodology 3 years, so I know a lot more than UEFA licensed guys because they only learn 6 months or 6 weeks in a certain course. I did that for 3 years. Books like doctor does in medical school. So I know a lot more than that. But even I don't know a lot of things. I know certain aspects, and I have to talk to when I change during the game, I ask all of my coaches, 3 of them, who to change, what to do. Tell me your opinion. 20 years ago, there was nothing like that. One coach was the coach. He knew everything. He was the head of the squad, head of the staff. He decided. And man, let me tell you, there was some lack of knowledge there. That's for sure.
Well, you're not talking about Bobby Davidson or Craig Short, are you, by any chance? No comment.
No comment.
I shocked you there with my knowledge, eh?
No, not that. But let's just say one almost exact example. As a personal example, I used to love training. Odysseas can confirm that I used to love and run and fight and everything. But I also used to go out at night, and I used not to drink, but I used to eat everything which was on the menu. Everything. And you know very well that Cypriot food is doing your best when you're a sportsman. And there was a coach who told me that Gabor is fat. Now I'm a coach for 4 years. Now guys, if I have a fat player, that's not a player's fault. That's my fault. What kind of training I'm doing, and that guy is running. He is doing his job, and he's doing my training. Now, if I'm doing my training and the player is fat, I mean fat 1 kilo or 2. No, don't think that I was 5 kilos overweight. But how is that? And he went to the press in Cyprus and he said that Gabor is a good player, but he's fat. I was so angry, and I said, listen, I'm doing your training. If you think your training is not good enough for me, do more. Train more, because I was not lazy. I used to love to train, and all this time I confirm that I love training. Actually, I love training more than playing games. He said, yeah, he's fat. I was never late. I was never lost in the running. I used to love. With KAIAFAS, I fought so much during the training, so much. It's unbelievable. During the games, we spat each other. We shout. Okay, it was not difficult with KAIAFAS to doing that, but
this
anyway,
is what I was
we were
to say now.
Yeah. KAIAFAS was fighting with everybody, but maybe when I was there, he was fighting with me more. But he was fighting with me because I also wanted to win in my way. And the coach is coming and saying that he's fat. When in Cyprus, when the heat is 45 degrees in the shade.
I remember that this happened when you were in Omonoia.
Yes, but actually I left Omonoia.
When you left, okay.
So it's one example. I got one player now in FERENCVAROS second team, and they told me that striker he was fat last year. I told him yesterday, come here. I told him, listen, you are very talented. I will work with you. I will do everything with you. You have to play in first division next year, but you do what I say, or you're going to be out as soon as you actually open your eyes. You understand that? Yes. You are okay with that? Okay. You want that? Yes. Okay, coach. Okay, Mr. Thank you. Bye. He never did that. He was putting me on the bench. Obviously, I might know who was that guy. He was putting me on the bench, and he said, Gabor is fat. And Gabor was not lazy. Even people in Omonoia were saying that Gabor actually was always fighting. So this is one aspect of the coach, that he was not able to communicate or take. He was not a good psychologist. He couldn't take one player and talk to him and I don't know, motivate him or talk to him nicely. Talk to him correctly. That's what he said to the press, not to me. Never. He never told me that. He told to the press when I left Omonoia. It's just one example that, and mind you, actually with that coach I met 6 months or 1 year later, and we hugged each other because we had a nice relationship. But you know what? That's not proper coaching. Let's just say that.
So it's a good opportunity.
Don't feel bad. It happens. we move on.
Yeah, it does.
Actually, we've been talking close to 50 minutes about the academies and all that, but it was really interesting, I think. We normally don't have like an agenda or like we're not programming what we're going to ask on the show, but definitely we wanted to talk about the time at Omonoia, and Gabor touched the surface of it by saying some stories with KAIAFAS in training, how competitive you were, and I'd like to ask.
There's a comment here. I don't know if you saw it. Where is it?
I didn't.
We lost the title.
Okay, so there's this guy that says, ask Gabor if he remembers a guy when we lost the championship in Paralimni, Stogasi 1-1.
Yeah. I remember
and you
that.
tapped his shoulder and you said it's going to be okay. And do you remember that thing, that game with Paralimni and Rasipi 1-1?
No, I you know what I remember? I remember that I still have nightmares of that game because seriously. It was the not the last game, but the two games before one game before the last, because the last game we had I'm lying. Last game was Paphos, the one before was Apoel, and the one before was Paralimni. And if we win against Paralimni in Rasipi, we are 1 point ahead of Apoel. We win Apoel, Paphos is deal done. And we drew against Paralimni. We were not given 3 penalties, seriously 3 penalties. The Statis did fantastic things and we were not given. I don't know who the referee was. I remember that game. That was my first year. That was 2003, 2004. I don't remember that exact situation, what happened. I'm happy that he does. It's a really nice comment. But I remember that game very, very, very vividly, actually. Although it was 20 years ago, 18 years ago.
How did the move to Omonoia come about? Because we knew that. I remember reading the paper back then, because obviously wasn't the internet so much, but you reached a point where you were training with Real Madrid B team before you signed at Omonoia, and I remember saying, "Wow, we're going to get a player from Real Madrid B." And how did you go from there to coming to Omonoia, and how was the approach? I mean, who approached you? Was there an agent behind the move? How did it happen?
Actually, that's not how it happened. In 1999-2000, I was a player of Real Madrid B, and I went on loan. I went to Toledo, a second division team in Spain. But I was a player of Real Madrid B. Because Real Madrid...
Wasn't Luis Garcia there? Was Luis Garcia
in Toledo? I play with him in Toledo. In Toledo, I play with him. Yeah, and we can also tonight. Also, I play. Yes, and in Toledo, I also played with Unai Emery, who is the coach of Villarreal. We used to have a very good relationship. Even now, we talk every now and then on the phone. I mean, messages, but. So yeah, it was in 2000, and I came back from Spain because it was. I have to be honest. I was not up to that level. Sorry, I wasn't really. And guys, that's Spain. That's the best league in the world, at least for me. And even then, it was actually probably more. And I came back to Hungary.
Guys, you understand?
Yeah, but you see, I'm honest. You never said that. You know what? I played in Omonoia 5 games. I was not good enough. I just said I was not good enough. At least I was honest. and I came back to Hungary. And I played in Újpest, another big club in Hungary. We won Cup and Super Cup, whatever. But since I was abroad one year, I thought that's my way. I want to leave. And then an agent approached me and he said, you know what, there was Odysseas and Omonoia. And believe it or not, it's 20 years past, so I can tell this story no problem, without any problem. That Odysseas came to Budapest to watch one of my game 2 or 3 weeks or 1 month before I signed with Omonoia, and Tassos, and who was the coach in Odysseas helped me. Mihailidis was the coach in Odysseas then, and Tassos his goalkeeper coach. Yes. And Tassos has a contract in his bag, and he asked me, Gabor, if I bring down the contract now, we were in a lobby in one hotel, will you sign this contract with us? And I don't know how. I said no. because I had the ticket to come to Nicosia to see how Omonoia goes in a few weeks. And my agent looked at me and he said, are you crazy? We have a contract here. You can sign this now, 3 years, good money. I said, yeah, I don't know that, but I want to see this Omonoia thing in Cyprus. How is that? Now, I don't know if you remember that you might a bit younger than I am. 2003, 2004, Odysseas almost went bankrupt. They didn't pay their players for 6 months. And I came to Nicosia. I went to Serafim's office. He was the president then. And we spent like 12 hours in the office and we signed the contract. But I almost went to an orthosis, actually. But I didn't.
I think you're 42 years old, so we're the same age. 79, and then.
Okay, all right. You don't look like. That's right.
It's the night eye cream I put. It's the deep hydration.
and the internet.
He rubs oranges on his face before he goes to bed.
Yeah.
Red oranges. But okay, so that was an interesting story. Εσύ Οδυσσέα από τις ακαδημίες που ήσουν στην Ομονία.
Ναι. Okay, first of all, I have a problem with my computer. I cannot see you, but I hope you can hear me very well.
Yes, we can hear you and we can see you.
That's okay. Yes, I started from Omonoia from the age of 12 years old. I was training with them. I remember the time that I went to the academies. I had a very, very good time. I had some coaches there. For example, Chikos, Patikis, Mavris. And the nice thing of this, it was not allowed to lose a single game. I remember sometimes when we lose a game, they would come to the dressing room, shouting, screaming. And okay, you start learning from the very young age that in Omonoia is not allowed to lose games. Okay, nothing to do with the situation now with the academies, but it was a nice period to remember. Okay, I moved to the first team at the age of 17. I played some games there. I won the champion of 2001, the cup on 2000 against Apoel that year. And actually, I left Omonoia in 2004. So with Gabor, if I remember well, I think we stayed together only for less than a year because I was on loan to another team that year. And I came back, and I remember that Gabor, there are not a lot of persons there who make company with him. So I started.
Close again.
It was the beginning, right? After they see that you're a very nice person.
No, I am not. I don't sleep.
Nah. That was the story in Omonoia.
Actually, just to make the Roy, just to make the whole story complete with Odysseas and us. And after the few years, SAVEVSKI was the coach of Omonoia and Savidis. And SAVEVSKI didn't speak English or very little. Let's just say he did not speak English. And I was standing there with the boys and he was talking Greek. Obviously, his Greek is perfect. And one guy comes behind me and start to whisper in English. I said, who the fuck is that? Why is that? It was Odysseas. And later I found out that SAVEVSKI taught him to go there and speak to him because back then nobody actually almost spoke English. They started to speak English and SAVEVSKI is saying this and this. I was okay, all right. I didn't really care what SAVEVSKI was saying, but okay, all right. And our friendship actually it's been on since then. So it's an interesting story.
Have in mind that SAVEVSKI didn't say to me to come. He asked who wants to translate. And I so there is a small detail about this that you have to know.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
So tell me,
nobody else actually spoke English.
When you guys were together at the club, was there one footballer or one teammate who you believed was a liability, you know, always turned up late for training. You couldn't rely on, you know, that kind of person. There's always one guy, you know, when you're going to go out with your friends and they're always an hour late or they don't even show up, like Humble. You know, is there one person at the club who you felt, oh my God, I can't go out with this guy?
Yeah, but you want us to say a name now? Seriously?
Yeah, why not? Throw them under the bus.
But if you can't remember, you can say, because I don't remember very well.
To be honest, and jokes aside, I think that Omonoia squad with Marco, Haber, with the late, not late, don't misunderstand that, but almost retiring RAUFFMANN, with a very, very passionate and strong and huge intelligence KAIAFAS and Theodosu and Ilya, the young Elias. I think that Omonoia had an amazing potential. We couldn't win the championship. We couldn't win anything in Europe. I mean, to qualify for something, but we had a very, very good squad with some great players and with great. Kostlay just came that year with me, Josef, to Omonoia. I think we could have won the championship just like that. Tony SAVEVSKI, if we had the right management, let's just say that, not coach. I think we had a great squad.
So what about the most skillful player? Was there a particular player that you saw, you thought, wow, he was just incredible?
I think KAIAFAS could have played in any country in Europe.
Yeah. That's what Hoffman told us as well. That's what Guido told us. Guido Hoffman was saying KAIAFAS
could have played any. Listen, he had the pace. He had the lung. He could run. He had the agility. He was very intelligent. He wanted to learn. I don't know how much time we have because I'm taking so much time to talk. But I give you an example. KAIAFAS was a hero, was a god, was everything. Also because of his father, God bless him, and also because he was a good player. And in Spain there was one habit before the game. The night before the game, we always had rice with fried egg and some tomato sauce. And also bear in mind that when I went there, we started to play in Europe. So we played at 9:49 at night, almost 12 o'clock at night. And the whole day, the players were in Hilton, frappe, bed, sofas, whatever, talking, doing nothing. And in Hilton, I asked for rice and fried egg and some tomatoes. So the whole squad was watching what this idiot is doing. KAIAFAS asked me, he was the only one asked me, what are you eating? I told him this is what they're doing in Spain. And he asked me, why? I said, listen, I don't know, that's what they're eating. And I was the only player, I don't want any glory above my head. I'm not saying because of that. I was the only player who woke up, then we had the games usually on Wednesday because of Europe. And Wednesday morning I woke up and I went to the Garden of Hilton and I did 20 minutes of moving around just not to be lazy for the day. And KAIAFAS and all the others went for coffee and for breakfast, whatever. And they looked at me and KAIAFAS was the first player who asked me, why are you running in the garden? I said, we had a training last night. The whole day you are going to sit in the air conditioning in the hotel and whatever. Then you go out of the heat at 9:45. You think you are going to be ready for the game. Guys, in 1 month, half of the team was in the garden 9 o'clock in the morning, just doing a little bit of warming up, 10-15 minutes, and we went together for breakfast. So, and I'm not saying because I was there. No. I was in Spain. I was lucky enough to play in Spain 1 year, which was back then it was the most professional country that we can say. And they wanted to learn, and KAIAFAS was the first one who wanted to do that. He was also the first one to kick the ball out of the highway if he was hungry. That we know that. We know that KAIAFAS. And he was the first one who left the training if he was hungry. But the ability, what he had, complexity-wise, he was the best player actually I played with. And I think he could have gained a lot more in the game. And he could have achieved a lot more in the game. Not in Greece, anywhere in Europe actually.
Odysseas, πάμε για τον RAUFFMANN,
something I want to say about this, about KAIAFAS. I agree with Gabor. You know that if KAIAFAS could leave Cyprus and play somewhere else, I believe that he could also achieve much more because he was not going to have the same character as he had in Cyprus.
Yeah,
Because of
probably.
his
Yeah.
family, because he was he felt he could do anything in Omonoia. If he was going somewhere else to play in Europe, I believe that his talent could help him a lot to achieve and show much more things and better career.
So what age do you think he should have left Cyprus if he had the opportunity? Because we talk about Johnny's being in MLS, people talk about Loizo and then possibly Humble, etc., etc. What age would you think he would have thrived or got, evolved better, developed?
Okay, now when somebody asks me about this, I say when you have the opportunity, as soon as possible, in my opinion, you have to go. This is my opinion. Because even in Cyprus, some teams, they do change a lot of things. They try to be much more professional, nothing to do about the previous years, but we are not in the same level as the European teams. And especially the teams, for example, like Belgium, Italy, England, even in Greece also, or some two other teams. I think it's much better if you go in Germany.
Yeah, we've seen Garo go to Portugal. We've seen Leifes go to Belgium. Blimey, Sodirio's been everywhere, hasn't he? So and their development's done pretty well. But I think players like Loizo and Johnny, they're at the right age to really kick on and develop. Not that we want Loizo to leave. Don't get me wrong. I want him to stay as long as possible. But there will come a time when big clubs will be looking at him. They probably are now. So so tell us about RAUFFMANN. Tell us about RAUFFMANN, Filemon. RAUFFMANN. We don't really speak about RAUFFMANN too much, do we, Roy? On this pod, we should really speak about him more.
I think we should try.
But do we need to? He scored 568 goals in 2 years. I mean, that is.
For RAUFFMANN is very easy. What I was saying is RAUFFMANN did our job in the field much more easy. Easier, yes. When you give him one good pass, one good ball, he knew that it was going to score. So he made
actually, no. Sorry to correct you. If you give him a bad ball, he also scored. No, you didn't need to give him a good ball.
He was amazing, and he's a player that I admire him a lot. I feel lucky that I play with him because I was with him since the day that he came to Cyprus. All this, it was a very good period.
And actually, I have to, what's the word I'm looking for? I have to remember him very well because that's an also interesting story. I have a very nice stories in Cyprus. The moment when he got injured, I was on the pitch. The moment when he got injured, which actually finished his career, and the movement that he made for that ball, I gave the ball to him. So and he was shouting at me on the pitch, "Hey, play that!" And I played the ball behind him. He had to move. He had to move back, and as he moved, his knee did the cracking. And that moment he left the pitch, and then he never came back, unfortunately. So I wouldn't say I ended his career because that's not true. But I had a part of him. But listen. Yeah, listen, I had a very good relationship.
Was in Makario, isn't Was it the
Exactly, yes. Exactly.
I was at the stadium.
Yeah, exactly. And he was a very nice guy. He told me before and also after that you know what, you are a foreigner, you are a big leader, you can become somebody in Omonoia, follow my steps, whatever. I went out with him. You don't really want to drink beer with him because you have no chance to win, but that's another story. But he's a very nice guy also. He was not easy on the pitch. Let's just say he was very, very difficult. I have to give you one secret. We played in Wisla Krakow in Krakow, 2004. Yeah, we won the cup and we went to Krakow. We lost 5-2, and the second game in Odysseas.
Yeah, I remember that game.
It was a very good team, and but anyway, it was 5-2, and And we had a chance. If you score in Nicosia, big, a lot of people, a big hit, whatever, you have a chance. And it was 1-0 at halftime. And HABER and RAUFFMANN had a fight of the century in the halftime in the dressing room. They were screaming at each other. In German, obviously, the whole team was sitting on the bench. Nobody opened his mouth. They were screaming at each other for like 3-4 minutes. SAVEVSKI was watching them. He was saying that, I don't know what's happening. I don't know when I can start to talk about the game. It was amazing. They were so competitive. They wanted to do anything but win. It was fantastic. I heard that he was not an easy person on the pitch, but he was a great player, and I have the best memories of him. That's for sure.
So, who do you think the best fighter at the club was? If you put them in an MMA octagon, who would win?
Gabor.
I can say I was a proper fighter, so I could have fought with everybody, but I don't know. That was a very good squad. We could have win the championship, not that win a championship, but we could have won the championship very easily, fairly easily, and to do something in Europe. It's a shame we didn't. It's a shame.
Roy, one more thing before I let you say what you got to say, mate. When I was younger, much younger, I remember playing football with my cousin. He was a goalkeeper, and he always wanted to be CHARITOU. And as a goalkeeper that we don't really, we know we've got Fabi, one of the best ever to play in Cyprus, but CHARITOU was fantastic, wasn't he, as a goalkeeper?
Odysseas, it's your turn because I didn't really play with him.
Yes. Okay, CHARITOU was not only a fantastic goalkeeper, he is a fantastic person, a fantastic personality. Even now that sometimes that we meet, when we see each other and we go to play with the veterans players, he was a person that he really lives for Omonoia. He never liked to lose in the training, in the game. He was so a man with passion. He was an amazing man, and he was a person that, for example, because I went to the team very young and I met him there, he was of the 2-3 persons that I believe that he gave the good example of how a champion, how a winner should be. He was amazing.
Yeah, I remember. As I said, Ani Pshozmu, he was very CHARITOU. Every time we played football, he wanted to be CHARITOU. No problem.
I did the same. When I was young and I was playing as a goalkeeper sometimes in the school or in the neighborhood, I did the same. I say, I am CHARITOU, I am Kandilos, I am Shurupas, Juriak.
Wow. Korolovszky.
Amazing.
I were not in the school.
Korolovszky
later. There's so many more things I'd like to ask, but it's been over an hour. Maybe we can try and do it again, but just before we go, I just want to tell you a few more names, because Gabor has nice stories to say, and the way he says the stories are really nice. But I'd like to ask you about, HABER, VESKO, and VAKOUFTSIS and PARALIMNI, to tell me a few words about them.
Me or Odysseas? Yeah, of course.
Both of you, just a few words, not just.
A few words is not my best part. You can see that. Okay, HABER. Shut up. HABER. Odysseas, I can confirm that we used to go out, 3 of us: Odysseas, HABER, and me. We had a fantastic relationship with Marco. I haven't had a fantastic relationship with Marco. Maybe I had the best relationship with him when I was in Omonoia. He was a fantastic player. He was a fantastic guy. He was a real German. I mean, he was a motherfucker. He was a fighter. He know how to play football. He was intelligent. He was everything. VESKO is different story. VESKO was quite old when I got to Cyprus. Well, we know his root. We know his blood. We know his mentality. He was a real fighter, and he was also a motherfucker on the training. He could fight over anything and everything with everybody. Best fights between VESKO and KAIAFAS were again, there are some stories to tell, but they were fantastic. Now with Paolo Ring, I didn't play. I marked him once with Olympiacos. He was a very good player. He was way beyond Cypriot level. That we know that. VAKOUFTSIS, I would say no comment.
Okay. I no love lost there, huh?
No. Actually, I wouldn't say I wasn't very bad. We didn't have a bad relationship. I wouldn't say that. No, actually, we had quite a good relationship. But let's just say my own self was coming down in Omonoia that period, and I don't know why actually, because I just had a fantastic year before that. And he came to Cyprus. He came to Omonoia. Sorry. Oh, I understand that he was a big signing from Apoel. I get that. He was more like a miracle and a goal for Omonoia than a player, and everything was around him. And I don't think he deserved that. Let's just say that. I definitely didn't deserve that. But he acted like one. He definitely acted and behaved like one. And I don't know if you remember me, guys. I don't think I was an amazing player, but I don't think I was a bad player. But one thing for sure, I was a fighter. I was a worker. I was doing everything for my team, whatever I played. Well, he did not. He did definitely not. He was expecting everything on his feet. He was expecting everything because he was what he was. And my salary was just cutting down 40% in Omonoia that year, 40, all right? And he was making 15 times more than I was. And, I didn't see the balance there. It's not his fault, I wouldn't say that, but I was very upset. That's why actually I left 6 months later. I was very upset with the situation, what happened there. It's not his fault, again, I'm saying somebody let him do that, or somebody was okay with that. But he has nothing to do with the character of VESKO or KAIAFAS or HABER or RAUFFMANN or Elias or Theodotou or myself or Koslay actually. Koslay was one of the most professional players I played in Cyprus actually. No, Odysseas?
Yes. Also another fantastic guy.
Yes.
Joseph was amazing. Yes. Haber also. These two players I can remember the best of them.
Okay, so basically you sort of answered the reason why you left Omonoia. That's going to be my question before the last. And the last one, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about Adam Lang. Just tell us.
Of course, first, I know him. Yes.
First, we would like to know the reason you left Omonoia, because as you said, I think you okay, for us fans, we loved you and we were really disappointed when you went to Apollon. But from what you're telling us now, there were deeper reasons behind you leaving the club as well. And what were the terms you left the club? And to end it, we'd like you to tell us about Adam Lang, a few words.
Okay. Actually, I don't remember the name exactly. You remember that there was a Romanian coach came after
Andone.
Yeah.
Andone.
Yeah, no, I don't know how he got his coaching license, but anyway, the point is that he's Romanian. He was Romanian, and I don't know if you know the history, guys, but we have a huge past and history between Hungarians and Romanians. The moment he entered the club, I said I will have a huge problem. The moment I never met him, but I had a huge problem, and I was injured then when he arrived. But I was getting out. I was getting ready to train at least with the team, and he said I was not fit. And every single day, after every single training, he made me run 20 minutes alone on the pitch every single day. And for 6 games, I was doing like a dog. I was working very hard. He did not give me 1 minute for 6 weeks. And bear in mind, if you remember that, before that, I was a basic, quite an important player in the first 11, and he did not give me 1 minute, not one. And every Monday he came to me, he hugged me, so-called hugged me, and he told me, you know what, work very hard, I see you're a professional, just, because of your injury. But I said, coach, I'm not injured for like more than a month. I could play 10 minutes, 15, whatever. Okay, your time will come, don't worry, just work more. Training finishes, Gabor go alone, and I ran up and down 20 minutes alone in Ilias Poulos. And there was and he did what I swore to myself that I will never do. He did the first 11. He took them to one side of the pitch, and he didn't give a shit about the rest of them. And I was one of the rest. It's not because of me; others were also there. And there were some times that I was almost crying that he doesn't even turn to us to say hello or to wave to us. He had the first 11 from Monday to Friday, and you knew that you don't have a chance to play on Saturday because he's training the first 11. Okay, full stop. That's it. And I was also like KAIAFAS. I had a temper on the training, and once we had a fight. Over the last few days we had a fight. But because I mentioned that, coach, just, give me the ball at least, or just say hi or whatever, that, also we are here, some of us, and we had a fight. And then unfortunate thing happened. Gabor Zawadzki died in APOLLON, if you remember that. God rest his soul. And all the Hungarians that we were there in Cyprus then, many of us, 10 or 15 of us, we had a game in Limassol. And we played there with the Hungarian national. FERENCVAROS came there, and we played against APOLLON. And I played there with the Hungarian guys, and Ben Stange, the German coach in APOLLON then, saw us to play. And he approached me after the game. We went for dinner, and he approached me. He said, I want you to come to APOLLON. Why you don't play in Omonoia? I said, I don't know why I don't play. The coach doesn't want me, so and so. And he came to us, and Mr. Freddy, the president director president of the APOLLON came to us, and Ben Stange hung me, and he said, Mr. Freddy, I want this player to come to APOLLON now, but if not, in the summer, because if you remember, APOLLON were fighting for the championship then. Actually, we won that later that year. And 2 days, 3 days, they were calling my agent, who was Kirzis then, the president of APOLLON. They were calling him, we want Gabor. And I called Mr. Serafim, and he told me, no, you don't go anywhere. And I said, but Mr. President, I understand that. No, I like your game. I like you as a person. I like your player. I don't let you to go from Omonoia. But I said, listen, my contract is finishing in the summer. You have not offered me anything yet. I understand that. I accept. But let me make some money. Let me do my career. No, you know that I will not leave you alone. But I said, you know what? I'm one of the best players in Omonoia for the last 2 years, one of the best, or most important. I'm not okay with that you're not leaving me alone. Give me a good contract, but you cannot give me a contract because I'm not playing right now. I understand that, but let me go. No, end of discussion. And he closed the phone. So I understand his policy and his way of thinking. He was correct, but I was crying, and I called him 2 or 3 times the next few days. And he said, okay, all right, let's talk. And I sat down. I told him I want to go to APOLLON, because that's unbearable what's happening here. And he was correct enough, and he let me go. My terms were fantastic with him. I'm sure he's not happy with me when he hears my name. But I was very upset because I really wanted to have a nice career in Omonoia, because I was ready to do that. I was never going to leave Omonoia. I loved to play there. But coaches usually, change your destiny. And about Adam Lang, I follow his path at some point in Omonoia. I know he's loved. I think he's a good player. His role in the national team is unquestionable or very important. I hope he's doing well. I'm very happy that we have Hungarian roots in Omonoia. I'm very jealous because I wanted to have the best root or the best memory. The people has the best memory about me, but that's how life is. I hope he's happy. And since Leo is also one of us, is working with me, we talk many times about Omonoia. We have good memories, and actually I hope that some Hungarians will keep come to Omonoia, and actually I hope that maybe even me, I can come to Omonoia one day, not as a fan and not to watch the game, but maybe something else.
Yeah, we wish the same as well. Okay, we'll close it with a message to the Omonoia fans, Odysseas and Gabor. Ένα μήνυμα στον κόσμο της Ομόνοιας before we close it, and thank you for your time here.
Okay, well, I want to say that the fans of Omonoia are amazing. Of course, I wish them the best, but I also wish the best to my new team that I have now. But since Omonoia has the fans that they already have, you know that they have the 12th player always by their side, and it's very, very important thing. And you see that people is always there, and this is very good for Omonoia to have fans like this.
Yeah, actually, I can say the same. I had a fantastic relationship with them. The one thing I always admire that they love the effort. If they see that you can try, and if you want to try, and if you're fighting, they might forgive you for anything. Personally, I had a very good relationship with some. And listen, I'm still singing in the shower or the dressing room that "Lao Sole." So and it's true actually. So I had a fantastic memories.
Change a lot of things also, right?
Do you know any Hungarian songs there?
No, I don't.
So shut up then. At least I know one. At least I know a few. Yeah, you shouldn't. So they are fantastic. I always ask them for having a little bit more patience. But they said patience is not none of our virtue, so they were not patient. But they are fantastic. They are amazing. I had amazing moments entering the pitch and derbies against APOLLON, Odysseas. They were full. They were fighting. They were shouting. They were not the best people when we lost 3-0 in Makariu or some other games. But they are fantastic, and I wish them the best. Wish them the best to be part of the team, and I hope that one day I can have the same experience with them in Cyprus.
Lovely. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. It's been fantastic. The stories, you know, your memories, especially with your coaching path, and we wish you both the best, and we hope we can do this again sometime. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Yes.
Anytime, guys. The only thing I would ask you is to have a guy who speaks better English next to me, because I love my friend, but his English must be improved a little bit.
Gabor, don't worry. People keep asking Roy to have someone with better Greek next to him. So.
And better eyesight, definitely.
Gabor μπορεί να μιλάει ελληνικά. Την επόμενη φορά να το κάνουμε στα ελληνικά.
Ναι ρε. Να κάνουμε ελληνικά, μιλάς ελληνικά, καταλάβεις κάπου.
Μαζί. I'm going away. You guys can do it together.
Σχεδόν τα πάντα.
Next time, guys. Next time.
Absolutely.
Thank you very, very much. It was great. Like I said, we spoken for an hour and a half. We could have spoken for another 2-3 hours.
Longer, yeah.
I'm sure about that, but we can probably do it again. Thanks for your time, and πάμε σιλακάμου.
Like, subscribe, tell your nunna. Don't forget to like this. Tell your nunna.